What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again. Today we got a lot to talk about. We got some new music that came out this weekend. A really major album that dropped that we're gonna get to in our next segment, and we're gonna get to some other topics too. As some classic debate topics, if you will. But first, I want to do a quick video on the unfortunate passing of Takeoff from the Migos. And I really want to speak on the violence in hip hop. I wanted to do a video last week, but it kind of got screwed up. So I wanted to do this the right way. It was just, this week was the funeral service for Takeoff. And Takeoff, of course, a member of the Migos, who, like it or not, are going to go down as a legendary hip hop group, definitely for this generation. You know, one of the influential artists and groups of the trap generation. So his passing was felt, really was really felt in the hip hop community and the music community, really. I know Justin Bieber performed. It was the funeral was a who's who of hip hop, but really it speaks to a bigger subject because we've lost many notable young rappers, many who haven't reached their full fame. I mean, just in not even the span of the year, you had PNB Rock, you had Takeoff, of course, and you had also Young Dolph. I mean, and I'm not even going back to Pop Smoke, who was the next great thing in this industry as far as music is concerned, and whose style of music, New York drill, is now the feature music in mainstream along with trap. But why is it going on? Why is there so much violence in hip hop as opposed to in years past? I mean, of course, there are notable passings of Tupac and Biggie that impacted an entire era of not just hip hop but music. I mean, and then of course, there have been other notable passings, but I'm talking about violent deaths. Also we had Big L from our generation. Um, there's a lot of if you want to call it street violence or criminal violence, but where is this coming from? And I really want to speak to why this is going on and why I think it's going on more today. And really, it's not really one thing. It's really a perfect storm of a lot of things going on, but it's really the culture. And it's just, our terrible culture that we live in. One, in America, two, in hip hop, and three, in minority communities. Particularly black communities. I don't really want to go into the political, social aspects of it, but I really think that it has a lot to do on both sides of why this is going on. First, I think it has a lot to do with the rappers themselves that bring this on themselves because, one, it seems that this generation is a lot more flashy with it. They're a lot more braggadocious with how they carry themselves. They wear chains upon chains upon chains everywhere they go. They drive these Maseratis and these cars in the hood they came from. They go back to the hood they came from, and a lot of these guys came from the streets. So most of these guys, even though they get big and they get notable, they still go back to the streets. They still hang out with the same crowd there in the streets, and they go back to their hoods. And when you go back to your hood, there is a target times 1,000 on your head now. Because now all of the dudes that you grew up with, you know what I mean, or you were in the streets with, even if they were your friends, or they were associated with you, now they're like, oh, you got all this? You was just next to me the next day, the last day. You ain't really all that. Fuck that. I want that. So the people, they associate themselves with the streets, and the fact that they go back to their hoods, acting in a I'm better than you fashion. That's gonna bring a lot of haters to you. Second is, you got to understand, a lot of the women that they get with the fame and the money and success, a lot more women are going to come with that. A lot of these women today, and I'm talking about the crowd of women that they deal with, a lot of them are, quote unquote, the Instagram thoughts. They're the ones with the followers upon followers and followers. They're the ones that are messing with the dudes in the NBA, NFL, whatever. A lot of these women are dealing with other dudes in the streets. They're dealing with real drug dealers. They're real dudes that are heavy in the streets. And a lot of these women, let's put it out there, they're scandalous. They're getting money with other guys, and at the same time, they may see that guy, that they may see those criminals or other drug dealers they deal with. They may see him on Instagram at dinner at Nobu or these expensive restaurants in Atlanta or LA or whatever, and they say, oh, so that's who you with? You was with me last night or whatever. So what's really good? Oh, I'm pulling up on site, and bam, there it is. You know what I mean? So a lot of the women they deal with is bringing that negative energy because of the lifestyle that they live. So a lot of these females are really a bad influence on these men. And these rappers don't care. They just want to live the lifestyle of having, beautiful women on their arm and all that. But those beautiful women are scandalous. You got to understand, they're out for their own gain, and they deal with a lot of dudes in the streets. So that brings a lot of negative energy to them, which could set them up to be robbed or what have you. So you have that, you know what I mean? So a lot of these rappers, they bring it on themselves. They bring that attention, popping up, showing where their location is at. I'm over here, posting their locations. That's a wrong move because you're inviting yourself as a target. Second is, and I think is the most important one, is just the clout culture all along. And that I kind of talked about that with the ladies that they deal with that are really big into the clout culture, the Instagram culture, the pick me, look at me culture, But outside of the women, these guys are these rappers are going on social media, and they're posting videos on Snap or TikTok or whatever, where they're pulling up with all the jewels, the cars, all of that. It's just going to bring more haters to them, because, back in the day, and I don't want to say back in the day, but, back in the classic 90s to early 2000s era, rappers never did that. They never told on themselves like that. If they were at an event, it was a media promoted event, and a red carpet was there where you would see that. But outside of that, you really never knew where they was at. You know what I mean? So people didn't see it, and it wasn't magnified. Their lifestyle wasn't magnified times a million. They're literally rap stars are living a movie now. They're on Snap, Instagram every day. They're showing where they're at. They're showing the ladies that are on their arm. And of course, the clout culture, because they want that clout. The clout is encouraged because the more views they get on Instagram, they get paid for that. They get paid for promotion. Promotional companies want to see them out there. So that clout culture works two ways. It brings haters to you. But not only that, real criminals, they want that clout too. Believe it or not, and this is the sick, psychopathic, narcissistic culture we are, they want to be that dude that took that chain from X rapper, that stole this dude's car, that held this dude up at gunpoint. And before you know it, they may try and rob that guy or whatever, and they may accidentally or intentionally kill them. And it's sick to say, but we have reached a point of narcissism in this young hip hop culture that criminals don't care. They don't give a fuck. They will go ahead and rob people intentionally just for the attention, even if it's negative that they get. And it's like they do it. You see it, the Nipsey Hussle situation. You know what I mean? You see the guys that's Extentacion, that situation. Like, it's unfortunate, but this is where we're at. You know what I mean? And rappers really need to be mindful of what's going on out there. And of course, it's the more hate. You know what I mean? It's just hate from social media. It's the hateful culture we live. Social media is a hateful place. And if a dude is shining, or a dude is doing well, dudes that know them or that are in the streets will go ahead and go out of their way just out of spite. We have a spiteful, hateful culture. You know what I mean? Even the situation, which is not doesn't have to do with murder, but with Young Thug and Gunna, I think that's basically based off of haters that wanted to bring them down and snitch on them for all intents and purposes. See, the old culture of moving in silence. You know, back in the 90s and 2000s, rappers didn't want this kind of attention. They didn't want to know, oh, I'm in the streets, I'm in this hood, look at all the jewelry on me. Because back then, FBI had open investigations on rappers. FBI had open investigations on Tupac, NWA, Public Enemy, on, you know. So them being out with ladies and money and all of that, that wasn't a good look. Real gangsters and real, you know who, moved in silence. You know, that's not the culture we're in. It's almost, and it's sad, it's celebrated the more clout and more I could do. When you have rappers like a 6ix9ine saying, oh, I'm gonna go to your hood with all my jewels on, look at me, and film a video, that's even worse. You know, you're just doing it on purpose because you want to show your so-called gangster, but you're just looking like a fool. You know, you're just looking like a fool. But see, that's the thing. A lot of these rappers too belittle a lot of the people around. They think they're better than people that they've come up with and all of that. So they bring this negative attention on themselves. So I blame the rappers and the clout, the sad clout culture we live in. And I don't know really how to change it, all of this violence. I mean, I think personally social media and clout culture is out of control. You know, I'm not a proponent, even though I promote on TikTok my videos, and I'm not a proponent of Snapchat and TikTok and all of that, because to me, it's just attention whore 101, you know. But outside of you're not promoting anything for money, or you don't want to promote discussion or anything positive, I don't really understand the point of it. But really, it's the downfall of our society. And it's sad that some of these rappers fall prey to that, you know. And so I want to say rest in peace to Takeoff, his family. Rest in peace to all the great rappers we've lost in the last how many years. I mean, going back, I mean, from Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, I mean, the list goes on. It's really sad, you know. But, you know, it's something that really this generation's got to be more aware of, and they got to change themselves. I mean, the under 30 hip hop culture really has to do it for themselves in order to stop the violence. You know, and the sad thing is, we had in our era, you know, not dating myself, we had stop the violence campaigns. We had, you know, self-destruction campaigns, songs for this. You don't see that energy in this hip hop culture. You don't see that. they should move to more of that conscious awareness. And actually, these rappers need to start doing it for themselves. And the leaders of this hip hop culture to come out and say, look, we got to end this violence. Let's get together, make some songs, do some promotional campaigns to really protect ourselves from this violence. So with all that, I'm gonna be back later. We're gonna get into this music, and I just want to make this PSA for the violence in hip hop. So like, share, subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable. We're on YouTube. You know, my content will be up there, along with some reviews coming up. All right. So with that, I'll be back a little bit later, and I'll talk to y'all. All right. Peace.